Hey, fifth graders, we're going to go ahead and start looking at dividing with decimals. And again, we're going to ease into it by using some whole numbers first. So we're going to go ahead and divide decimal numbers by whole numbers. And these ones are pretty straightforward. In fact, we've already done these types of problems when we did division problems and I asked you to express your remainder as a decimal. So you already actually have this skill. Now tomorrow when we get into dividing decimals by decimals, that will certainly be a little bit more challenging, but there's something really nice that we do to make it an easier problem. So anyways, let's take a look at this. We divide decimals by whole numbers, just like we divide whole numbers by whole numbers. So we're just going to go ahead and tackle it using our long division that we've become rock stars with. So we're going to use our long division skills, and the only difference is at the end, when we dig our way into decimal land, we need to make sure we bring the decimal straight up into our quotient. And this might require using zero placeholders. So we do need to be really careful about using zero placeholders so that our decimal ends up going in between the correct numbers. Because if you shift your numbers over and then bring the decimal straight up, it could get squeezed between two of the wrong numbers. So we need to be really careful with keeping our numbers lined up. So let's do a couple of examples together. So we've got 475 and 2/10 divided by 2. So this is my dividend. First number is always the dividend. Second number is always the divisor. And you might be saying, well, Miss Gannon, isn't it always that we do big numbers divided by small numbers? And the answer is no, not always. In fact, we can definitely take smaller numbers and divide them by big numbers. For instance, I can take $1.25 and split it up amongst 5 people, and that would be 1.25 divided by 5. Everybody's not going to get a ton of money, but they will get something. It's less than $1. So it's always the first number is the dividend, the second number is the divisor. So we're going to go ahead and put the dividend in the doghouse in the long division symbol. So we have 475 and 2/10, and we're dividing that by 2. And we're going to go ahead and just use our long division. 2 goes into 4 twice. I subtract 4. I bring down the 7. 2 goes into 7 3 times. I subtract 6. 15. Whoops. 2 goes into 15 7 times. I subtract 14. I get 1. I bring down this 2. 2 goes into 12 6 times. I bring my decimal straight up. I subtract 12, I have a 0 remainder, so I'm done. Let's take a look at another example. We have 36 and 95 hundredths. So I've got 36 and 95 hundredths divided by 5. And this is where I need you to be really careful using a 0 placeholder. 5 goes into 3 0 times. Put a 0 above that first number so that everything else stays properly lined up. Because if not, if you put your first number here, your decimal is going to end up being in the wrong spot when we bring it straight up. 5 goes into 36 7 times. I subtract 35. I get 1. I bring down the 9. 5 goes into 19 3 times. I subtract 15. I get 4. Bring down that 5. 5 goes into 45 9 times. I have a 0 remainder, so I am done. So, our answer is 7 and 39 hundredths. Okay, let's talk about what happens what if these remainders didn't end up being 0? Let's talk about what we would do in that case. Have no fear, 0 placeholders or annexing or adding a 0 is here. So we're going to go ahead and add as many zeros as we need to the end of the number. Oh, oops, this is supposed to be, sorry, add a decimal and as many zeros as you need. Although we're already starting with decimals, I apologize. Really, since we already have a decimal, all we're going to do is add a bunch of zeros and keep dropping those zeros down until there is no longer a remainder. That's super important, until there's no longer a remainder. So, for example, we have 45 and 1/10 divided by 4. So let's go ahead and tackle this using our long division skills. 4 goes into 4 once. Bring down the 5. 4 goes into 5 once. 11. 4 goes into 11, let's see, twice. Subtract 8. We get 3. See, I have a remainder of 3. Now, since we are already in decimal land, we have to continue. So some of you might say, well, Ms. Gannon, can't we just say remainder 3? And the answer is no, we can't say remainder 3 because there are not 3 whole things left over. So now that since we've dug our way into decimal land, we have to keep going. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add a 0 and bring it on down and continue dividing. 4 goes into 38 times. Excuse me, no, 7 times. 7 times 7. I subtract 28. I get 2. I'm going to bring down yet another 0. Oops. One moment, please. Something's going on with my phone. Close. Okay, it's warning me about low battery. I apologize there, boys and girls. Hang tight. Okay, so again, I'm back here. 4 goes into 25 times. So that's going to be 5. I subtract 20. I get 0. So now that I've gotten 0, yay! We're done. So our answer is 11 and 275 thousandths. I'll rewrite that. So my answer is 11 and 275, and that's the thousandths place value. Let's do another example together. 23 and 62 hundredths divided by 8. 8 goes into 2 0 times. I want you to use that 0 placeholder so everything stays properly lined up. 8 goes into 23, let's see, twice. Almost 3 times, but not quite. Minus 16, that's a difference of 7. I bring down the 6. 8 goes into 76 9 times. I subtract 72. I get 4. Bring down the 2. 8 goes into 42 5 times. I subtract 40. Now here is where I'm going to continue adding zeros and dropping them on down. 8 goes into 20 twice. I subtract 16. I get 4. I bring down one more 0. And that goes in evenly. 0 placeholder. So I am now done. Oh, I'm sorry, my phone is telling me low battery again. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and end this video right now, but I will post another video of the backside so I can get my phone charging so this does not die. I apologize, guys. Stay tuned.